Brad, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
This has been something on my bucket list for a little while.
Okay.
To have you come over and share your story and inform people, because not everybody knows what your life is on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You've got something that not a lot of people in the world have, and to be able to come over and talk and inform people, that's just cool. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep. No problem. No problem.
Because for those that don't know, you are a quadriplegic.
Yep.
And you said something earlier, and I can't remember. It's
Incomplete.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So let's start with, if you don't mind, how that happened.
Okay. So I started a new job. I think I was there 9 days. And we were putting a driveway in next to a garage, and there was a dead tree there. So 2 guys were cutting the tree down. And as the tree fell, it fell away from me. I was the farthest one away. It fell away from me. And there was vines wrapped around it. And it was wrapped around all the other trees around us. So as it fell, a branch from one of the other trees came and hit me in the back of the neck. And I remember standing there. Next minute, I'm on the ground. I tried to sit up, couldn't move. All I could move was my left arm. And then I heard somebody took a cup of water, poured it right behind my head, and I knew I was bleeding out of my head because the branch also cut my head open. So then, and everybody started running up, and I knew I wasn't in a good spot. So I just tried to calm down, started giving people phone numbers to call, and
so you never really lost consciousness.
Nope, never got knocked out. And
you tough SOB.
No tree could take me out. Yeah. So I was laying there, and I was trying to hold still as I could, but man, my right side was really hurting at that time. And
with
just pain.
Just pain?
Yeah. And the lady that we were doing the driveway for, she came up, kind of put something under my shoulder so it wasn't hurting as bad. And then a cop car showed up first, and then the ambulance, and then I got in the rescue squad, and they gave me pain medicine, which was the good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, I could have took a 6-pack of that anytime, So, got to the hospital. I remember opening my eyes about 2 or 3 times, seeing people. I can't remember who,
You were drugged up enough.
Yeah, the owner was there. The business was there. And I can remember, I think my mom and dad were there. Not sure who else was all there, but so kind of dozed in and out. That was in Williams Bay. And next thing I know, I opened my eyes, and I'm 1,000 feet off the ground because I was in a helicopter. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is either I'm going up to heaven or I'm going for a ride.
Going for a ride one way.
Yeah. So they flew me up to Freighter and hospital up in Milwaukee. And the funny thing is, on my way to work that day, the radio station I was listening to was saying how California and Wisconsin were the best spinal cord injury hospitals, and they even talked about Freighter before I even got there.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, so when they said you're going to Freighter, I'm like, okay.
You got an idea what's going on?
Yeah, nobody told me what was going on for the most part, but I wouldn't remember too much.
Yeah, when you're drugged up that much, it's...
Got up there, then they had me in a table where you look kind of like an angel, so you can't move, and yeah, there's times I just remember opening my eyes, remember people coming in and talking, and yeah, so.
Yeah, there was a lot of people up there when that happened.
Yeah, there was a few people up there. Nursing, I remember I opened my eyes one time. There's a lady sitting on my chest holding my neck or my head so I couldn't move. And they had changed my neck brace. Yeah, that was something to wake up to. Like, somebody just sitting on your chest and holding your head like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, you know?
What year that was?
2004.
2004.
July 28th, 2004. I think that was a Wednesday. Friday had surgery. And they fused 4 through 6.
So you broke.
I shattered my C5 and it shattered into 3 pieces.
And that's the one that's kind of in the back of your neck here, right?
Yep. And that's where maybe when I sat up, it might have pushed the bone into my spinal cord. That's where it was kind of...
What happened?
Yeah, some people say it already hit it. Some people say it didn't hit it. Whatever. But they got a cadaver bone, put that in there, fused that all together, and then Saturday afternoon, I was already up in therapy. They didn't wait till...
They wasted no time to get you up in therapy then.
Yeah, so for a week or two, I was still on...
Heavy doses.
Yeah, morphine or something, I don't know, but it was rough those first...
Well, yeah.
2 weeks, and then they put you on the rehab side, and then I was there for another month and a half, so it was almost 2 months I was in there. And like I said, when I first got there, all I could move was my left arm. Couldn't feed myself, couldn't do anything. Stuff started coming back. And then started to be able to feed myself and whatever. But so that's when you start learning what level of injury everybody is. So
you are a C5.
I'm a C6.
C6.
Yeah.
Incomplete, which means your spinal cord is not severed, but it's bruised, punctured, something.
Yeah, you can feel. So incomplete is you can feel below your injury. So I'm cut off right about chest area. So
as far as
I can feel from there down, I'm paralyzed, but I can feel everything down to my toes.
Correct.
The only thing I can't feel is hot and cold in certain places, pinpricks are hit and miss all over, but for the most part, I can feel everything, just can't move it, which they said is weird because usually your feeling is on the outside of your spinal cord and your movement's on the inside. So
I didn't know that either.
At least that's what they told me anyways.
Well, I got to believe that they know what the hell they're talking about.
So yeah. So we try to figure that out, but
so what muscles do you have control over?
Okay, so C6 is biceps and your wrist flexors. So no triceps. So I put my arm like this, I can't straighten it. Now I can fake it pretty good, but use gravity. And gravity sucks when you're laying in bed and you go to itch your face. I learned that the first week, or you go to itch your face and you just, boom, punch yourself because your hand comes down.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, learn that. So, but
yeah, I'm sure the first, I'm sure today you're still learning things that make things easier for you. But I'm sure that first year or two was probably pretty tough to understand what movements you have, and then you're still going to physical therapy all that time, correct?
Yeah, I went to physical therapy at the hospital till I believe April. I think it was March or April
of the following year.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while. Then after I finished therapy there, then I started working out at the YMCA twice a week, strengthen the muscles you have. Yeah. And
well, it's a good thing to do that too. It keeps the blood flowing, pumping, keeps you a little bit more healthy too. And then it strengthens the muscles that you do have, so you are able to do certain things.
Yeah,
that
makes transfers easier.
That most of us take for granted.
Yeah, makes anything a lot easier. So
you said you can feel hot and cold
certain places. Yeah, so like let's just say my thigh, can't feel the hot and cold. Now if it's like an inch square on my knee can feel it. It's not consistent all the time.
Which is weird.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
A unique case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Well, you seem like you're you got the hang of it all now.
Yeah. Yeah. Until stuff comes up and then you're like, oh, what? You have to figure out something else now,
So something else, you have a specialty wheelchair that you use.
Yep. Yeah. So the one I'm in right now, it's a custom made wheelchair. There's the good thing is they're light. They're kind of made for your body. So, and you can kind of push anywhere you want. Bad part is if there's stuff you don't like about the wheelchair, you don't know until after you order it and you can't send it back.
Like what?
Like I just got this new wheelchair. I thought it would like the bars coming in and the wheels hanging out. Yeah, I don't like that as much because you can't get as close for transfers or it twists a lot more.
The armrest too you're talking?
No, the feet. So
okay.
So the feet, you can't get as close. So, yeah, there's just small things. Like one makes you sit. My last chair was more reclined, I guess you could say. This one makes you sit.
Lean back a little bit more?
Yeah, this one makes you sit up straighter, which I should be sitting up straighter anyway. Yeah, so but this chair right here, just the tires, because I got special tires, they're like $1,500, $1,200 just for these two tires. And then the front casters, they're like $500-$600. And I think the total chair was, what was it, $4,000 or $5,000.
Damn.
Total. And then after about 3 or 4 years, they say throw it away.
Got to get another one.
Yep.
Well, you can still get 3-4 years out of them though.
Yeah. Now my electric wheelchair is.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
That's all 4-wheel drive. You can't use it in the house because you'll tear stuff.
Yeah,
up.
because that thing's probably what, 4 feet, 3.5 feet wide.
No, it's actually the same width as this.
It is.
It's only 28.
It seems wider than that.
But you got to turn it like a semi.
Yeah, because it
drives like a car.
It's an electric one.
Yeah.
So, and you got a joystick that you're able to use with your hand and your arm to run that thing forward, back, side to side, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
And that one's pretty cool because that chair can do everything, it seems like.
It raises up, tilts. It can go through a lot since it's 4-wheel drive. But you got to pay for it. That's, it's close to $30,000 just for that chair. So,
but for a guy like you use that damn thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe not so much in the house.
But when it's nice out, fair, or
hunting, whatever. We'll get into that subject a little later. But yeah. So I mean that chair for it probably gives you a lot of freedom then, because then you don't need somebody to push you up a hill or down a hill, or if you're going through grass, I'm sure it's probably pretty tough to push that wheelchair through grass.
Yeah.
Where this thing, push the lever.
Yeah. And tires have, the more air you have it, the rougher the ride. So you kind of keep the tires a little low, so that way you can go about 5.5, 6 miles an hour.
Which is scooting right along.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also it has a lift on it, so it raises up, I think it's 12 inches or something like that. So that's what I use to get on the lawnmower or the skid loader. And so
when you're on those specific things.
Yeah. So.
And when did you get your first electric wheelchair?
First one I trashed right away.
A learning experience?
No, the first one was they said this one had mid wheels and little casters in the front and the back. So
I remember that one.
Yeah.
How did you say that?
I went hunting and got in a little mud, and
that was it.
I packed in the motors with the mud, and Wrecked. That was a $14,000 chair. Wrecked that in about 10 minutes. And it would going across the yard. Wouldn't go across the yard. It would get stuck in the yard. It was made for a house, blacktop, concrete, whatever.
Yeah, it's made for a hard surface.
Yeah, it wasn't made for what I need to do with it, you know. Out in the country, it's a little different than... Yeah.
Do you know the manufacturer of the wheelchair that you have now? Either one of them?
The one I have now is an X8 Extreme.
That's the electric one?
Yeah, that's the electric one. This is a quickie. So the one I had before that was a Key Typhoon. I like probably that one a little better, but like I said, each one, but it's kind of like an old shoe, you know. You go to a new one, this don't fit right until you break it in.
Yep.
So,
is there a specific manufacturing company that you talk to on these things?
I just go through Mobility Connections. And there's another one downtown that I used once. It's really hard to find certain
That's why I'm asking,
Yeah.
because if there is anybody out there that listens to this, maybe you can give them a couple of tips or places to go to try to help them out as well.
I went to get the electric wheelchair fixed for a while. I had to go down to Palatine, and I can't remember what it was down there, but just to get that fixed, because they're the only ones certified to fix it. Because that chair is actually from Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but my old chair, I have two X8s. One's an older one, and then the newer one. But I found out with the new one, it's way better motors, way better battery life, but it don't like cold. So
the old one doesn't.
The old one, it don't matter if it's 0 or what. With this one, it gets below 15 degrees. It won't tilt. It won't raise up, which I needed to do when I'm out hunting, because it gets cold hunting. So they said it just don't work, which I think everybody that had a Tesla found out it don't work in the cold.
Yeah. You know, the batteries
are great, and
they are.
Like everything has its purpose, you know.
Well, I was in Vegas in November, and I got an Uber, and the lady showed up, and she was driving a Tesla, and I'm like, oh, cool, I've never ridden a Tesla before, you know. Mm-hmm. So I jumped in, and we started talking. I said, how do you like the Tesla? And she said, I love it down here. She said, it's phenomenal, especially Ubering around. She said she had a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord or something before the Tesla, and she was spending $350 a week in fuel. She says to charge that Tesla for the week costs her $80. She says, I can make a mortgage payment with the amount of fuel that I'm saving. I'm like, oh no, I get it. I just know up by me, once it gets cold, battery shit don't like to work.
Well, and I don't know, it's like my wheelchair. You can go a year, sometimes 6 months, but all of a sudden you should go about, it says 12 miles, but I know I can go about 20 when they're fresh. Mm-hmm. But when you get close to the end, you ain't going 2 miles and it's dead.
They wear quickly.
Yeah. So it's like, when everything's new, but I just want, once it gets older, but they're not using lithium batteries either. They're gel batteries, because you can't use anything. If you tip over, the batteries leak. They don't want to burn the person.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And that makes a lot of sense. They want to protect you too, just in case something does happen.
Right. So
that's why they went with the gel batteries.
Yeah.
Back to your feeling. So something that you taught me a lot, but something that you taught me about quadriplegics is that they can't regulate their body heat. Yep. They can't regulate. So when it gets hot outside, you don't sweat.
Nope.
And when it gets cold,
you get cold. Yeah, so I don't know what's worse. I mean, if anything, I'd probably rather be cold than hot, because you can be out 90-degree weather and doing whatever, and it's like you're fine, and just like that, it feels like the old commercial. Here's your brain on drugs, frying an egg. That's what your brain feels like.
No kidding.
So it hits you real fast, and then you have to find some place to cool down, ice, something.
You pay for it then at that point.
And then it wears you out real fast.
What are some things you do to combat that? I know, but
air condition.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, air condition, eating ice really helps. That cools your core down. That helps a lot. Just putting ice packs on your head. If you can get into a shower, cold shower, that helps a lot right away too. And that's pretty much all you got. Yeah. Even getting in the air conditioned building doesn't help right away. You need the actual
you need to cool off quick.
Yeah. It's kind of like heat stroke or whatever. You got to cool them down real fast.
And then as far as cold goes,
now cold, I could sit outside in 30-degree weather. It doesn't affect me, except for maybe an hour later. Then it just feels like you are freezing to death. You can put 5-6 blankets on, a heating pad on your neck, whatever, and it might take an hour or two to get your body temperature back up, because you can't really feel it until later on.
Until it's too late.
Yeah. So, but I had problems with that probably the first 1-2 years on that, and then I kind of just got over being. I don't know if I body regulated or I got more cushion or something, got more insulation going on or what. But then I didn't have a problem until I had the brain bleed, and ever since I had the brain bleed, now I'm back to being cold all the time. So I don't know if it's, something related or not, but.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Dan's Diesel Performance. If you're looking to improve your truck's performance, efficiency, or appearance, check out Dan's Diesel Performance. They manufacture turbochargers, fuel injectors, fuel pumps, transmissions, intake piping, and much, much more. Plus, they offer all the top brands in the diesel industry. They're located in Machesney Park, Illinois. Visit their website at dansdieselperformance.com or give them a call at 815-977-5865. So you were lucky enough to be able to build your house.
Yep.
And so obviously you built your house to be very accessible to you. Explain a little about that, if you would. I mean, as far as your bedrooms and your shower and kitchen, dining room.
So the bad part with building stuff as accessible. So my one counter is lowered and is actually handicap accessible. And I think it's 6-7 foot long with a range on it. And it's lower down, and that little 7-foot section costs more than the rest of my cabinets and stuff combined, which I only did one spot. If I had to do the whole kitchen that way, it would, You'd
never built it.
Right. So you have to pick and choose what you want to do, unless you have all the money in the world, then do whatever you want,
Yeah.
So then in my bathroom, I have one sink that's lowered. The other one's just a standard sink, so I can roll up underneath it. Use it for how
whatever you need to
brush
use
my
it for.
teeth, wash my face, whatever. And then I think the shower is just a roll-in shower. It's probably 4x4. It may even be 5x5 roll-in shower. Which, even if I wasn't hurt, I probably would do that again, just because it is nice to just walk in a shower and, you don't have to have a curtain or whatever. So
Yeah, because there's nothing on the front of that. You
Nope.
literally can just roll right in, hit
Yeah.
your knobs, and what do you got? Like a couple different ports
No,
that it
I
shoots?
just got one
One right above you?
one above me, but it comes off, so I can hang on to it, use it the way I need to, and wash all the nooks and crannies. And
Yeah, those are important.
yeah, gotta get all those nooks and crannies out. So, but I think that's trying to think if I got a lift for my my stairs, which
That's a lift that you can roll
the whole chair,
the whole chair right on,
Yep.
and it lowers you down and raises you up.
Yep. Had problems with that, but I think we figured it out. Dog hair doesn't work good in rollers. So, yeah, so we got to clean that once in a while and keep it clean I probably would use it more, but the boys are downstairs. I don't need to go down and find out what they're doing.
Let the boys be the boys, right?
Yeah. Unless a tornado comes, then I have to go down there. Or Shannon says, go check the boys because they're not doing something they're supposed to. Then I have to go down, run over one of them or something,
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're literally going to be on their toes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I got one more question, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Then we'll get to the today's stuff. You pretty well have to have a nurse with you 24/7, correct? Or a person, a caregiver, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because if I need to get up, yes, I'm gonna need help to get up, go transfer in the car or whatever. There could be 4 or 5 hours where I don't need. They can go do whatever they want, but when I need something, yes. So
Yeah, because I remember, obviously, over time, you're getting to know your body. You're getting to know what you can do, what you can't do, when you need this, when you need that. But I remember the first, probably 10 years, you had somebody with you all the time, just because it was a learning curve.
yeah, and it's now that getting older, you still need a little more help, or I gained a little more weight or something here, which I gotta get that off. So, but yeah, for the most part, you still need somebody with you, or should have somebody with you. Now, some quads don't, and some people do. I think for me, what I think I've realized is having somebody with you, even if it's helping get dressed, transferring, I think it's saving on my shoulders because
You're not doing it all yourself.
yeah, granted, should you be doing it yourself? Yes. Is it better in the long run? I don't.
Time will tell.
I don't know.
And
the next person won't have problems with their shoulders, and they do it all themselves.
I was just going to say it depends on the person too, right? There's people that are completely healthy that, run 10 miles a day and they fall over at 40 years old, completely healthy. And people are like, what the hell? And then the next guy's got 5 back surgeries.
Yep.
It just depends on.
They run for 10 years and they need new knees. Next guy runs for 30 or 40 years and they don't.
Yeah, so everybody's different that way too. Do your shoulders do feel pretty good overall?
Yeah. I mean, as long as I don't be stupid and do something I shouldn't be doing. But,
like we were talking earlier.
Yeah. So, like right now, I don't have a lift in the Yukon. I drive a GMC Yukon, and so it's me and the nurse heave-hoing up into the seats. And
yeah, because that's quite a bit higher than what your wheelchair does.
yeah, it's about a foot or two higher. And
so between the two of you, you gotta. So let's go through that process real quick. I mean, like you said, you have biceps, wrists, a little bit of pec muscles, not much more than that. So if you are to transfer in and out of a vehicle, and we'll get into the vehicles here in a little bit. That's where we'll shift to that today. But before we get there, take me on a step by step. I mean, I've seen it 100 times, but I want you to do it. To take me through a step by step process and how you do get in and out of vehicles.
So if it's the Yukon, you have to put my feet up first because you don't want to be transferring because you've got dead weight hanging. So you want your legs up where they're stable, and you can kind of keep them out of the way. They ain't going to be flopping out or anything. And then you slide as close as you can. Put one up on the seat, one on the chair.
Little help.
And they'll nurse behind you, kind of like behind you, and you push up, get your butt on the seat. You do another push to get it all the way in, and then
adjust.
Yeah, adjust from there. So now
coming out is easier than going in.
Yeah, coming out, I just put my hand down and
flop out.
Kind of gravity works there with you. So as long as you hit the chair, then it's fine. But if you miss the chair, yeah, I haven't missed yet. Now that I said that, yeah,
I'm knocking on wood for you.
Yeah, I said that I'll be leaving here, go home, and Kyle, let's go back on the podcast.
Let's hope that don't happen.
Work? No, yeah. Now my truck has a lift on it where I just transfer on a square platform, and it raised me up to the seat of the height of the truck seat. Then I transfer into that.
So that's much easier then.
Yeah, it's easier. It's much easier, but
it's still got its.
But the truck is 3 feet tall compared to the Yukon.
So that's got a bracket. That's got like a bracket and platform underneath the truck that comes out, and you sit on it, and then it raises you up that way.
Yeah, but it's called a stow and go. Now, I just started looking into, because my old truck had that turner seat in it, where the whole seat come down. I haven't looked at them because they have a bar, and so nobody could sit behind you. It took up a lot of room and stuff, and you couldn't use the original seat. And I did put my original seat back in, but then it sat so high nobody else could drive it. And I want to try to keep stuff as non-handicap as possible because it's cheaper. And when you go to get rid of it, other people can drive it, and if they just have to take out the hand controls, that's nothing. It's just just a couple screws, bolts, whatever, take it off the pedals, and then it's
so that's what I wanted to kind of jump into next. So you've figured out a lot of ways to make sure that you're able to do what you want to do, whether it's from hunting, driving, whatever the case may be. So like on your vehicles, you got your vehicles made so you can drive them.
Yep. So on the steering wheel, it's a 3-pin. It's like they call it a tri-pin. So one part locks into your hand, and the other part goes around your wrist. So that way, you can turn it.
It swivels. So you're basically doing this, and it locks into your wrist this way. So when you turn the wheel,
it's turns, swivels, kind of like the old tractor
suicide knobs. Yeah.
So,
just a little bit fancier for you.
Yep, just like that. And for the hand control, you push down for gas, push forward for brake.
And now that's a control on your left side, right? If you're sitting in the driver's seat.
Yep.
So your right hand's on the steering wheel, your left hand is on this control.
Yep.
For forward or for gas and brake.
Yep. Now they do make some where people drive with left, and they got another hand control type thing by your leg, and it mounts to your inner console, where you pull it toward you, I believe, is gas, and you push it away as brake.
Yeah, I'm sure they make different ones, but if you're used to one, you kind of want to stick with it.
Yeah, I had one. My first one was a rotating one where it was kind of like a motorcycle, where you rotated it for gas and then you pushed it for brake. That one was easier to do, but it took more mechanical connections, and it usually had to sit lower so it hit people's knees. And like I said, try to get the ones that everybody can drive, and that's the best way to go with it. So.
And you've got two. You got your Yukon, the one that you drive almost all the time, and then you get your pickup that way too, right?
Yeah. I did have a van, a big conversion van that had a lift on it, which.
Yeah, I remember that van.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
we won't get into those details, but
van, it was good for like when I want to go hunting. I could put my electric wheelchair in there, get ready in there. Now I have to get out into the electric wheelchair, out in the cold, try to zip up. And
Yeah, because your electric wheelchair, you got to pull that with a trailer.
Yeah, no.
Because that don't fit into anything.
No, so when I had the van, it would fit into the van, and the van was probably the comfortablest one to drive, but it's still a van. Not a van guy. I don't know what to say.
Until you sit there and you're trying to get dressed to go out hunting, and it's 2 degrees out, and you're like, God damn it, I'm missing that van right now.
I did say that the other day. I'm like, man, it is, 30 below, or the heck it was. I'm like, man, this van would be nice right about now. I could transfer into that, then open the doors, and
the only time you're out in the cold is going from the van to your hut.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah. So, but it's only 2-wheel drive, so bad part was that I would either get stuck or,
I get it.
So it's like, what do you do with one's convenient, one's can get you where you need to go, but so yeah. So I'm trying. I just called now that those turning seats where the seat comes out, they don't have the brackets in the back, so it just mounts to the floor the way it looks, the new ones. So they
cool.
use an original seat, so I won't have to modify anything, which is.
Are you thinking about doing that with a Yukon then?
Yeah, probably Yukon, and we'll see how that one works, and then maybe the truck afterwards.
Yeah, well, one day at a time. Technology is coming so far nowadays. They're making these things better and better and easier too.
I just seen, what's his name, the Tesla guy.
Elon?
Elon Musk just came out with some AI thing that some guy put in his head, and he's walking now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's called Neuralink.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
I don't know if it's. I think one of my friends called and said, "Hey, have you heard about it?" And he told me. I'm like, "Okay, I'll have to look it up." And I did look it up, but I didn't.
It's in the early stages.
Yeah.
Like early stages.
Yeah.
It's something there's a link, there's some type of, I don't know if it's a computer code, whatever, that they put in the back of your, kind of like on your brainstem, from what I understand.
Yep.
And then he's thinking that once this thing gets up and running, we'll be able to communicate with each other and not even talk. I mean, it's beyond limits. It's beyond my comparison. I know this much about it.
Yeah. No more lying then.
Well, that's probably a good thing to a point.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand,
your wife or girlfriend goes, "What are you thinking?"
I was just going to say that. Till the opposite sex says, "How do I look at this?" And you think, "Oh boy, honey, you look great." You just said, "Oh boy, God damn it."
Yep. How much did you spend? I ain't telling them. No, yeah. Well, why ain't you gonna tell me? Yeah. It's kind of be a good thing and a bad thing. So.
All right, let's get on to hunting, because obviously, like I said, biceps, wrists, some pecs. So you can't pull a bow back. You can't hold a crossbow. You can't hold a shotgun. But you hunt with all of them.
Yep. So I'm not even sure when. I know I got it when I first got hurt, but I came and don't even know the manufacturer. It has 2 like V or like tripod type things on it, and you put your weapon in there, strap it down tight.
Now this is on your electric wheelchair,
yes.
right?
Oh, I could put it on this one too.
You could?
Because it goes underneath the seat.
Okay.
Underneath the Velcro seat, so then the bar comes up that attaches to.
In between your legs, right?
Yep.
Comes up in between your legs.
Yep. Comes up between my legs. It's kind of like an L shape looking thing, and then another part that attaches to the gun with the like tripod looking thing mounts onto that bar, so you can swing it left, right, up, down, because it has a shock on it, so you can move it around any way you want. Within not full range, but you can go probably 20 degrees either way with it.
Which, like you in your hut, that's plenty.
Yeah, and when I first got hurt, I had they call it a puffer, where you could blow into a thing and then it would hit an actuator and would pull the trigger for you. Yeah, well, I didn't use that. So for my bow, I used a shoestring and a Velcro strap so I could hook it around my hand and pull it. And then for the guns, I have it was for when I was eating because I couldn't hold a spoon or a fork, so it was like a cuff looking thing, and you could shove your fork or spoon into it to help you eat. Well, I put probably a 5-6 inch bolt in there, and then I could hook it on the trigger and pull it.
Hey, so, whatever works, right?
So I found that works easier now.
Yeah, the next person might say the puffer works easier.
Yeah, yeah.
But for you and what you found, that's what it is.
I feel like I had more
control
over the, you're aiming and trying to blow or, I didn't like it, but so I just like kind of halfway pulling the trigger, feels like you're still in a little control.
Well, you are. I mean, you're in control of that whole thing. Because like you said, it's on that swivel. You can move it anywhere you want. So if the deer's off to your right, you can move it to the right, look down the scope, whatever. You've got control of that trigger. So I don't go, because there's a deer and,
yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. Shoot a hole in the cut or something, yeah.
Because you made a new ground blind, I guess, this year, last
year, yeah. I think it was last year, yeah. It was just a shed from Home Depot. It was 8x8 shed. Had 6 windows cut in it. A window out the back. Hey, I insulated it, put stuff up. So, and then we got an old pop-up camper, which we found out was more rotted than we thought, and this hunter was going to use it for Country Thunder or something like that. So we ripped the top off, and all was left was the trailer frame. So he set that 8x8 on there, and
there it is.
Hauled it out to the field, and
that's where it sits.
That's where it sits.
And that probably works pretty good for you. Keeps you out of the elements.
Yeah. Yep. I got to do something different with windows, but because, I like to keep the windows up and keep the heat in for as much as I can.
Do you got a little propane heater or something in there?
Oh, yeah. It almost gets too hot in there with that thing, but if I can find a way to lower the windows
just a little bit or something
by myself somehow, so that, engineering.
You'll figure something out.
Yeah.
You're good at that stuff. You'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll probably get some people ask about your gloves.
Okay, so my gloves. Now some quads. There's one that I think he runs Oscar Mike's. He don't use gloves, which is fine. My gloves, the blue part on my gloves helps push and kind of keeps the dirt on my gloves instead of my hands. But like I said, one person will use them, next person won't use them at all. Some use something totally different. So, they're.
Yeah, I mean it really keeps the wear down on your hands and your palms.
Yeah. I don't get calluses or anything like that, which is good sometimes.
Yeah. You don't need to be busting up your hands.
Yeah. Because but if it gets wet, like when it's raining out, I can't push because
slip
rubber on rubber. It's
slippery.
Yeah, you can't push. So then you have to have somebody push you, or
I see you rocking back and forth a little bit too. Can you kind of go into some detail on that?
Well, so since I don't have any muscle on my butt, it kind of is like bone on skin, and it starts to hurt. So I have to keep moving, and I also I've learned that you have to keep moving because otherwise you get bed sores. And I've had people say, well, why can't you sit still? Well, it's just, I don't know if I don't even realize it anymore. I just do it just to do it.
Well, when it hurts, move.
Yep. And just keep moving, and knock on wood, since now it'll be 20 years this year. I haven't had a bed sore. So
you're doing something right then.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's the thought process.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, then you'd probably have a few more.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause if you get a bed sore, you can end up in the hospital for a week, and then they have to do skin grafts, infection, and yeah.
Your blood pressure.
Good times.
Well, there's a lot of people don't know that you're actually on uppers.
Yeah. So when you get hurt, you can't regulate your blood pressure. So you always run low. And so when you run low, it still affects me now, even though I'm on pills. I'm like the other day, I felt real low, and it was like 66/40 or something like that. You don't,
Half of what it should be.
yeah,
Less than half of
So
what
I
it
have
should
to take
be.
medicine to raise it, which there's only one medicine that can raise your blood pressure up. So, of course, when there's only one pill for that, it's usually pretty expensive. But I try to,
You kind of need it, though.
yeah, because if I ran out one time because they couldn't get them in, and I didn't have them for a day or so, and I couldn't get off the couch because
Lightheaded and
that's with and when I mean like 60/40 type stuff, that's with my feet up, laying flat.
Ooh.
So that's not even like sitting up, And then the bad part is, if you have something going wrong, your blood pressure goes the other way.
it spikes.
Yeah, so it's called up at Freighter they call it AD, which is autoimmune dysreflexia. So
Now, what do you mean?
Autonomic dysreflexia. Okay.
So what do you mean when you have something that goes wrong? Like with your body, something goes wrong?
It can go from, you have to be cathed. Could be a hangnail. It could be you actually are getting burned and you don't know it or whatever. So that's your way your body telling you there's something wrong. So what you can get is like goosebumps, extreme headache because the blood pressure goes so high, blurred vision. I mean, it can go. I've had it bad twice, and neither time when we try to take my blood pressure, I wouldn't read it. So that means, and the blood pressure goes to 300/180 or something like that. So it was over that. And the one time was when I had the brain bleed, in November. So
Yeah, not very long ago.
yeah, so
Not very long ago.
and they determined that was from one of my meds from being paralyzed. So the side effects on some of that stuff is
You probably don't want to know.
no. Yeah.
You see the commercials all the time, and it's a 30-second commercial, and 27 seconds of it's telling you the side effects. It's like, I don't want to know that crap. Just
Yeah.
put me on it because I know I need it.
Yeah. So I'm off of that med, and which since I went off it, I haven't replaced it with anything. They gave me another pill to replace it, and they said, well, side effects are
blah, blah, blah,
it
blah.
may affect the memory, blah, 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 and this and that. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to have less memory. Can't remember crap now,
The older we get, the less we remember.
Yeah.
Why push that faster?
Yeah. I need to know what I did yesterday for right now.
Exactly. Because you are on quite a few different meds.
I've gone off about 4 or 5 of them, so I only take actually three meds. So one's for spasms, one's for to regulate your bladder, and the other one's for my blood pressure.
So that's one thing that we didn't talk about, and I told myself we were going to talk about that, is spasms. Just because you don't have control over your muscle doesn't mean that it's not gonna.
Yeah,
it's not gonna move.
So
when
if
it
you
wants
move
to.
it the wrong way, your legs will looks like you're shaking and go nuts.
So and that medication you're on helps prevent those.
Yeah, because some people will have whole body spasms where their whole body will just lock up, and it'll just throw them out of the chair because their whole body goes straight like a board. So you're in a chair, boom, you're just straight, and you just slide out. Yeah,
You don't have that though.
No. So I hope, thank goodness I don't. I take the pill. I don't know if I'd ever will, but
Hope not.
Don't want to not take the pill and say, oh, let's find out, See if
unless you're in the doctor's office laying on the bed saying, all right, let's figure this out.
Yeah. Let's see if we're going to have a good day or bad day. Yeah.
Yeah, because, what you do, it not all of us understand it. I've only understood what quadriplegics go through since you got hurt. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know what goes on in your everyday life for that matter, but at least I have an idea. Mm-hmm. So to have you come on here and talk a little bit more about the bad stuff and then talk about how the good stuff that you've done, from driving your vehicles and being able to hunt and you got a skid steer. So
plow snow in the winter when we do get snow, and did have a plow truck for a while, and then got rid of that, and then I just had the skid loader. So,
and that skid loader is pretty unique because it's a JCB skid loader.
Yep. So you enter from the side, so you don't have to enter from the front. So that's way easier than, because I just pretty much transfer onto the wheel well, transfer into the seat. That probably out of all the transfers, that's probably the easiest one, which you'd think it wouldn't be, but that's probably the easiest because all the nurses are standing up. You don't have to bend over. You don't have to do anything. So everything's just standing up.
It's right here.
Yep. Yeah, it's at the standing level, I guess you could say. So.
And that's been and you use the hell out of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. If I can get in it, just to do whatever, I get in it. And
well, I mean, I know. You've plowed a couple driveways out before with it, and I know you've gone along fence lines and pushed stuff back to help some local guys out. And
I'd use it at the fair because clean out all the barns after the fair, but that takes me about a week or so. Yeah,
it's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
I'm just glad that somebody made it where you can step in through the side, because you probably couldn't get in through a front one, could you?
I probably could, but it'd be a lot of work for somebody, and I'm afraid I'd probably end up with less skin somewhere because, you move and you don't know what you scraped yourself or whatever. Then you sit on it, drive around, and then, oh, guess what? You were bleeding for an hour and
you didn't know
because you cut your leg open or whatever, and now you sat on it, which made it way better. Yeah, So,
do you do like daily checks to like maybe not daily? Let me rephrase that. If you were out and about, whether you were skid loadering or you were out hunting, do you get home and like, okay, hey, I want to check, make sure I didn't
pretty
cut
much
my damn leg?
Pretty much at the end of the night where you take all your clothes off and so look over, make sure you don't have any red spots, cuts,
miscellaneous
blisters, whatever. So that's a pretty much check every night. Just now, if I start to have issues, then we try to check it more often. But I don't think I have had 1-2 times that I had to check it once or twice a day. But after a day or two, you're back to normal for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know, like myself, I try to do a bodily check every day. Usually when I'm in the shower. Perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
Everything looks good. Don't got no bumps or lumps or anything like that anywhere that it shouldn't be. So
yeah.
and I was assuming that you did too.
Yeah. So that way, the faster you catch it, the better off you are.
Yeah, absolutely. That goes with anything.
Yep.
I agree with that.
So
anything else you want to touch on?
I don't know. Can't really think. I don't know. There's tons of ways you can do anything.
Yeah.
And you just got to
figure it out
which way works best for you. Because at least in the hospital, they give you the basic way to do transfers, do stuff, and what works for one person ain't working for another. So.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, and you got to remember, some people don't have any movement. Some people have some movement. Some people have movement all the way up from their waist all the way up. So transferring for all of those people are going to be different every time.
Yeah.
because you found the best way that it works for you, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person.
Right. Some people like transferring to the left. Some people like transferring to the right, and then they'll turn their chair the way they'd like to have it done or whatever. So.
Yeah, because like when you transfer, you literally pull your wheelchair, open the door up, and you pull it up as tight as you can get it in there.
Yep.
And then you go that way with it.
Yep.
And the next person might not want it that way. So
Yeah.
Well, Brad, thanks for coming. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Hopefully I answered any questions anybody has. Or
Yeah, and this has been very informative I think it's informative for people that don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been around you for 19 years now, going on 20.
You're so lucky.
I'm a lucky man. And so I've got to learn through you on how this works. And along with a few others that I know, but you particularly, just because I'm around you, you're my cousin.
Right,
You live 4 miles away or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
So, but for those out there that don't know, at least now maybe they have a little bit of an idea.
If sometimes it's if you got a question, go ahead and ask it. And if I don't want to tell you, I was just like, I'll kind of brush you off. But if it's something you want to know, I have no problem answering questions.
There you go. Appreciate you, Brad.
No problem.
We'll see you.
Yeah.